You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pros studios. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Coverage, communication, and coordination. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. A Senate Homeland Security report finds all were lacking at the rally in Pennsylvania where former President Trump was shot in July. It finds no one was clearly in charge. Requests for additional Secret Service assets were denied, and Trump should have been kept off stage because of a suspicious person who turned out to be the gunman. The former president, meantime, is told Iran's government wants him dead.
In a statement, the Trump campaign confirmed that former President Trump was briefed by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, quote, regarding real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him in an effort to destabilize and sow chaos in the United States. It goes on to say that intel officials said the threats have heightened in the past few months. In a social media post, the former president said Iran had made, quote, big threats on his life and thanked Congress for the bipartisan approval of more money for his Secret Service protection.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Tropical storm Helene is getting stronger, expected to make landfall along Florida's west coast tomorrow night as a major hurricane.
Law enforcement there is hoping people listen to calls to evacuate beginning today because once the water rises, deputies stay indoors. Mike Pendergast is the Citrus County Sheriff.
We simply don't have enough first responder assets to get out and rescue folks once that water comes in.
In Miami, Evan Brown, Fox News.
Overnight, a passenger on a bus in Los Angeles is shot and killed by a man who then hijacked the bus, holding the driver at gunpoint. There was a chase and then a standoff.
The suspect is in custody, and the investigation is ongoing.
LAPD Commander Donald Graham there. No word on a motive for the shooting or the hijacking. Stocks start the day mixed on Wall Street. The Dow is down 97 points. The S&P is up 4. The NASDAQ is up 50 points. America's listening to Fox News.
If your approach to everyday aches and pains is to mask them, feel better for a few hours only to have the pain return and then repeat the cycle all over again, it's time to try Relief Factor. And the good news is Relief Factor makes that easy. Their 3-week quick start is just $19.95, less than $1 a day. Instead of masking pain, Relief Factor helps eliminate it. How? Well, its unique formula of ingredients helps support your body's response to inflammation. Relief Factor was developed by doctors. It's 100% drug-free, and for so many people, the results are game-changing, even life-changing. So give it a try. Right now, their 3-week quick start is just $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. See how in a few weeks or even days, Relief Factor can reduce your pain. When you feel better, life is just better. So don't mask pain. Fight it naturally.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
And your code for a chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL, 701. 701 is your chance to win cash. Enter the code now.
Russell Wilson here with Play 60. United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Healthy kids.
To get involved, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Donate.
Are you guys going to do that every time?
Yes, of course.
Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to the Moon Griffon Show. Hump Day already. Glad to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline on a beautiful day, praying for our friends in Florida, if that's where the, quote, hurricane's supposed to hit. We'll have to wait and see. You're always glad when it don't hit you, but then once it gets in the Gulf, it's going to hit somebody. And unfortunately, somebody's going to be hit. So our prayers go out to whoever that's going to be. It's just wish we could do something about the weather, and there's no such thing. It never will be invented that man could do something about the weather, no matter what idiots are telling you they can. And, boy, there's some idiots out there. Anyway, I'm loaded up today. Great program. I'm also going to go over, there's a big run here in the state of Louisiana to talk about tax reform. I'm going to tell you what I explain what tax reform is and what it's not. And I'm not too happy about what I'm seeing, but supposed to be a new plan coming out in a few days. So we'll see what happens. Raising taxes on the middle class is not tax reform. That and more as the program unfolds. I am honored to have Mr. James Baird joins us. He is with the Pelican Institute. He's a counsel for the Pelican Institute. Big case was just won, and we want to talk about it. James, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Moon. Thank you for having me.
James, thank you for coming. All right, James, another win in the courts. Fifth Circuit ruling protects religious liberty for service members. Tell me what this is all about.
Absolutely. Well, when the military COVID vaccine mandate took hold across the country, we challenged it on behalf of the religious liberty rights of plaintiffs up at Barksdale Air Force Base, primarily. Started off with Faith Crocker, who's a service member up there, and expanded to 7 other plaintiffs. We took the case to the district court. Unfortunately, the district court found that the case was moot because the Biden administration, at the behest of Congress, had eliminated the military vaccine mandate. But the overall case, we appealed it to the Fifth Circuit. We said they were really challenging the broader system, which turned out to be a sham process. Anyone who submitted a religious accommodation was basically denied, no matter where they were stationed, no matter what their role was, no matter what their commanding officer said. 99% of these service members who requested vaccine accommodations for their religion were denied. So the Fifth Circuit ruled in our favor 2 days ago, decisively, on all of our counts. They said the case is still live. And they also said that service members do not have to exhaust their administrative process in the military to bring challenges based on religious liberty. So that really protects service members and their religious liberty in the Fifth Circuit quite a bit. So we're extremely happy.
You know, it's a shame, James, we got to fight for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame that you have a right. You have rights. Even in the military, you have rights. It's a shame that we got to go to court to fight for things that we know to be good and wholesome and true.
Absolutely. And all these service members, extremely patriotic. They love their country. But when given the choice, they each made a choice saying they don't want to do this for religious reasons. And they were doing great work. Their commanding officers all wanted them to stay. But, of course, bureaucrats off in D.C. with a different view didn't care and just tried to separate all of them. Fortunately, the courts stepped in and protected them. So, the courts did their job in this case, protecting their rights.
Yeah, it's a big win. Now, does this move to any other court battle? Will this go to the Supreme Court? Or is this ought to pretty much end this, shouldn't it?
Well, we don't know if the government's going to try and appeal it to the Supreme Court. I hope they don't. But currently it would go back to the district court to continue to work on the case. We'll see what the government does. But hopefully they'll come to their senses and say, hey, let's just resolve this and move on.
Yeah, and this is a big win for everybody in the military. Going back into the COVID days, government tried to do so much that was wrong. We look back now, we know it was wrong. And just about 90% of it was wrong. Maybe more, all of it was wrong, but most of it was wrong with what they tried to do to us, not only us, but people in the military, for God's sake. A military is a volunteer agency. You know, I've watched this happen with nurses and doctors in hospitals because they decided that they wanted to tell everybody what to do, and doctors would have to get in line. They don't want to lose their 6-7-figure jobs. Nurses, but there were doctors and nurses who said, to hell with you, I'm not taking a shot, and I'm not going by the mandates. And so not only didn't military people lose their jobs, did some of them, a bunch of them, lose their jobs over all this?
Yes, quite a few did. And I think that they're, allowing them to come in back now. But the level of disruption this creates, and we need a strong military. We have an all-volunteer force. We're struggling with retention and recruitment right now. And to kick out these wonderful patriotic Americans for this reason was completely illegitimate. Quite a few did. In fact, one of our clients was actually kicked out, but the court said his case is still live, so we're going to proceed on his case. But it's not fair to kick out these patriotic Americans simply because they didn't want to take a mandatory vaccine. We believe in freedom.
Now, think about this, James. You got volunteers to fight for their country, to put their lives on the line. And all other vaccines they take and things of that nature, they understood that. But there was some that decided this quick vaccine for COVID, and the whole COVID thing, most of that was such a lie. They decided to not do it, and you tell them, okay, we would love that you defended our country. We love that you were willing to put your life on the line. But if you're not going to take a shot, we're kicking you out. That's un-American.
Absolutely. Most of these folks had COVID protections because they'd already had COVID. But, it's beyond just the particular vaccine or COVID. It's about fundamental freedom and religious liberty. We're really proud to vindicate those concepts. And Pelican Center for Justice fought quite a bit against these COVID restrictions and had a lot of great success in the courts, fortunately, stopping some of these restrictions on freedom, basically. It's not that we're against the vaccine. We're against necessarily the government forcing people to take vaccines.
No, it was nothing to do. And I was the same way. I don't know enough about a vaccine. I could be dangerous. I'm telling you, it had everything to do with freedom, our country, and what was right and what was wrong. And that's what y'all were fighting for, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we took the OSHA case up to the Supreme Court and prevailed on that as well. So it's been a great opportunity to fight against government overreach, which is what we exist to do, to represent people fighting against government overreach.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Well, man, I hope to God that this will be, that y'all don't have to fight this anymore. And it doesn't mean if they bring it to the Supreme Court that the Supreme Court's going to hear it, but just the facts that you have to keep going through this, and for people that volunteered in the military, it's quite upsetting. Is there any other cases out there from COVID like this, similar, maybe close to this, maybe it's a little different, that's out there that y'all fighting now, or any that you hear about?
We are, actually. We're fighting another case for the Army. Each of the military services had a different vaccine mandate. So we're currently fighting a case in the Western District for an Army soldier who was out there to fight against it as well. And there have been lots of other cases in other districts and other circuits that people have fought, and they've come to different results, obviously. And we're just happy and proud that this particular result was so positive that we're hopeful it will help all the other cases, too.
Yeah, by the way, when a case like this is tried and you win, does it normally send waves to another case like this where they can use it as an example, or maybe in some cases just say, look, they made a decision in the Fifth Circuit Court, we're going to just abide by the decision they made and actually drop a case?
Absolutely. It's, the entire system of our kind of law and the arguments we make are based on precedent. So to be able to establish positive precedent like this, it moves forward to help other people in other cases. And the court's holding in this particular case expands the religious liberty rights of all service members, because it says that instead of having to go through the administrative process within the military to challenge these, you can go straight to a federal court and have a third party look at it, a judge. And so it's expanded religious liberty throughout the entire circuit, Texas, Mississippi, and Louisiana.
I'm taking it on stuff like this. Mostly we're fighting the government. Am I wrong? The federal government?
We are. We're fighting the government.
Yeah, fighting the government.
Almost all these things.
Yeah, so I mean, I know there have been cases where people have fought hospitals and they fought state government or local governments and the decisions they made, but a lot of these seem to be fighting back against the federal government. We're fighting our own government, which is supposed to take care of us and get out of the way so we can go prosper.
Absolutely, it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, this is bad. Well, let me ask you a question. Where can people read about the case?
PelicanPolicy.org. PelicanPolicy.org is our website. And the more important thing is if anyone has a case to fight federal government overreach, that's what we exist to do. And we would love to represent you free of charge to fight to improve the law.
Yeah. Well, so if they're interested in getting y'all, they go to the website, make a phone call. What do they have to do to get y'all engaged in helping them?
We need a better jingle. We need the little Morris Bart thing or something. All you got to do is go to the website and you enter in about your case on our case portion, and we'll be in touch with you.
All right, sir. James, thank you. Congratulations. Great case. Great win for the American people. No doubt about it.
Thank you, Moon. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All right, James Baer, Pelican Institute. We got to take a break. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, MatthewJames.com, MatthewJames.com. Take a break. Be right back. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Folks, you heard us talking about Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Raging Cajun delicious line of gumbo, black-eyed peas, shrimp and grits, jambalaya, seafood bisque, etouffee, red beans, roux, jalapenos. Raging Cajun's products are made right here in Acadiana now. Thanks to all of y'all, Raging Cajun is one of the fastest growing brands in grocery stores. Raging Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Forget the rest, ask for the best. Ask them for that Raging Cajun. It's good, folks. Trust me. I love it. You will, too.
When the power goes out.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, your opportunity to be a voice. this is really a nothing story in the big picture, but I think it's where we're going with a lot of stuff. So if you don't follow football, you won't like it. But to me, it's not even a football story. University of Nevada, Las Vegas starting quarterback Matthew Sluka quits. They're undefeated. They're 4-0, 3-0. And all this NIL stuff going on. Which I don't care. I could care less what they do with all this stuff. It's all about money now. That's why they don't talk about student athletes anymore. Why? You making all the money you need now? Anyway, undefeated will lead the team because of alleged unfulfilled commitments made to him coming to the school. He's not getting money he was promised. So he's going to quit 3 games in the season, 3-0. He's going to make it a redshirt year and will not be playing in additional games. Now, I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which are not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck in the season. Hope to continue success and progress. This is what we're teaching young people how to act. It's about the money and the hell with everything else. That's it. Because, look, I played on teams. If you never played on a sports team or never been on a dance team or a glee club team, you probably don't understand. Most people have been on teams. Teams are about the team, not about myself and I. And this is what they're doing in college now. They're making everything about the person. Social media is making everything about the person. This guy's going to just quit his teammates. What about all the hard work they put into something? What about all the hard work he had to compete for the job? He won a job over 2 other people. None of that matters. I was promised some money I didn't get. Can you imagine? And it's coming one day. Mark my word. This is coming, what I'm getting ready to tell you. We let the kids run the show now. So this is what's coming. I just take LSU. I don't mean this for LSU. You can take Alabama, you can take anybody. You're starting quarterback, you're 10-0. You're rolling, and you're one of the best teams in the country. And your starting quarterback is Moon Griffon. And I go, you know what? They promised me another couple $1 million, and I ain't getting it. Man, the hell with everybody on this team. I quit. I ain't playing no more unless I get my money. You've been with these guys all year. It's been all about LSU or Alabama, whoever, it's a team. And all of a sudden you quit. It's coming. Reggie Bush, and this is what I understand about Reggie Bush, they cheated back then. And they busted and they took away his Heisman Trophy. So now Reggie Bush got his Heisman Trophy back. Now he's suing USA for using his name, likeness, and image, and he ain't got paid for it. He wants to get paid for it. So now he's suing. Let me tell you something. You go and throw a bag of money out there and see what happens. And this is what's going on. I just always thought the college game was always so much purer than just watching NFL and professional baseball. And this cat here is going to quit. He's going to hold his year. Now, the next team that comes along and promises you something, what's the guarantee he's going to get his money? And here's another thing. So you're the team that says, hey, come play with us. How you know he ain't going to do that to you? See, it's more about the money than it is a student athlete. It's more about the money than it is about anything else. And we've taught people to believe that. We taught young people to believe you make your money. You make your money to hell with everybody else. And I look at that in Louisiana. If they ain't giving the money to somebody, you may as well take it. That's what we do. Somebody's going to get the money. You may as well take it. I had a pastor, a friend of mine. I ain't going to mention his name. But he used to joke about it. He said, look, when you – he was just joking. It was always funny. He would say, look, if you sitting around not knowing to take that job, he said, go where the money's at. God's everywhere. And he was joking. And we all took it as a joke. But you kind of wonder sometimes because everybody needs a few more dollars, especially with inflation. I just think this is where the college game is getting ready to go. The lawsuits. There's a kid playing quarterback at Nebraska right now sued Florida. They promised him all kind of money. When he found out they were not going to get that money, he left Florida. And he's the starting quarterback now with Nebraska. And so where does all this end up? I'm just kind of curious. Where does all this end up one day on the sport and the college game that we all like to watch? Because this is where it's going. Look, I don't want to get caught off, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about today. But when I saw that pop up, I said, this is absolutely ludicrous. Because we took away, it just becomes individualism a lot more than it does team. And you gotta believe that it's just about money. To hell with everything else. You gotta believe that. And like I said, you're gonna have somebody saying, "Well, I'm not playing in that game. I'll show you. I didn't get my money." That's exactly what's happening here. So the game itself is getting away from us. The enjoyment of just college football, the experience. Because it's way more about money now. Somebody will say it's always been about money, and I cannot make that argument against that. But it's really about money now. You got to make sure everybody gets theirs. Unbelievable. When we get back, they've already started again with crying in Baton Rouge about cuts. There's not going to be any cuts, folks. I'll take a break. Be right back. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on College Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon talking about another great Louisiana company, Hudco Roofing. Louisiana has some pretty crazy weather at times. Torrential rains, gusty winds, especially up north. Hail, and of course, hurricanes. You got to remember your roof protects everything. You and your family and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or a brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there's no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System. And that's a big deal, especially during hurricane season. Hudco specializes in residential and commercial roofing systems and coatings. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. So go to HudcoRoofing.com. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so can you.
Do you crave off video? This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show, Hump Day. Great to be with you. Matthew James, Business Tax Reduction Hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Well, here we go again, and I've been telling y'all this for a few weeks, that crying and gnashing of teeth. Same old Louisiana. We passed the 0.45 cent sales tax. Weak Republicans in Bell Edwards on a sales tax we did not even need to pass. Go talk to Paula Pelosi Davis. That was one of her great victories. Okay? One of her great victories. Okay? I'm just letting you know Paula Pelosi can explain how it was such a great victory. $3.5 billion tax increase. Paula Pelosi said, oh, this is a great Republican. Calls herself a conservative. So now here we go. We're closing in. Now they're talking about maybe a special session on tax reform. I'll get to that in a minute. Louisiana higher ed bracing for big cuts. And you go read the article. It's the same article you would have read when Bill Edwards was governor. It's the same article you would have read when everybody was a governor and anybody was fighting budget deficits and cuts to higher ed. It's the same article over and over and over again. And they're crying. And this is what they always do. Remember David Calicott, who came on this program, embarrassingly didn't come back. You know? They're going to cut us. We ain't going to do nothing with health care. Same old. And this is, and of course, the media goes right there with it. In other words, folks, we can't ever cut government. We can never cut government. We can never stop giving government everything it wants and claims it needs. Ever. So that means we can never fix the budget. We can never lower taxes. We can never make this a friendly business. That's what they tell us. Never. Bracing for $250 million budget shortfall. With sunset of the state sales tax, and they put that in red next year at the Devil's Advocate. Louisiana higher education leaders told the Board of Regents they're finding cuts could have devastating impacts. How about people not being able to pay their bills back at home? Don't y'all think that's kind of devastating too? Inflation taking it away, insurance taking it away. But they don't care about that. They don't care about your family and mine. This could mean slash programs, layoffs, students across the state receiving less financial aid. System leaders said the State Board of Regents budget hearing on Tuesday. There's no place to cut that won't hurt. But guess what? There's no place to take from me that can't hurt anymore either. We don't have a voice. The representatives and senators and the governor is supposed to be our voice for the people, not for the government. And boy, they have flipped that role, haven't they? Elect me. I'll fix the spending problem. Wait till I get down there. Really? When does that work? How does that work? Taylor Barra. State sales tax not renewed. Louisiana will face $600 million shortfall. Barra says the legislature will go into a tax policy special session later this year. Now, I'm going to pass that and come back to that. Then here's all the other stuff. Layoff, program cuts at Southern University. Let me move down. Cuts at universities and Louisiana systems. Oh, my God. What about cuts at the Griffon household and the Boudreaux's household and the Rush's household? And the Haldane's household, and the McCarty's household. Why they got to do all the cutting all the time? Rick Gallo, the guy who ran Grambling State into the ground, who told the board, he's the head of the university system now, told the Board of Regents that additional budget cuts would be devastating to all 9 of our institutions. Program cuts, hiring. Okay, Rick, you mind if I keep a little bit of my money so I can eat? You know, I got kids at the house, too. I got a dog to feed. You know what else is happening, folks, with the cuts? You want to know why? They don't want to cut any money. Louisiana Community Technical College system. Here we go. Louisiana State University system. They ain't got to the health care. So this is the same thing. This is I live in Reelsville, as Rush used to say. I just live right in the same old state. See the same old problems, never fix anything. We got a budget that's a post-COVID budget. How much of this money was spent one-time money, now they need money over and over again? Nobody wants to take a look at this. That'll go through education and healthcare with a fine-tooth comb and every other budget. So let's go back to Taylor. You know, I was a fan of Taylor, big supporter of Jeff Landers. Nothing to do with none of that. I'm being blunt with y'all, folks. I'm telling you what I'm seeing. That's all. And I'm not seeing anybody talking about cutting government. But I do feel like taxes will be raised. I do. I feel like taxes are going to be raised. Barra said the legislature would likely go into tax policy special session later this year where income tax and other policies would be discussed. Well, so we're doing an article here on how it's just devastating higher ed, how it's going to be just devastated, the cuts. And we say, but we're going to go into a tax policy special session. Now, do you think they're going into tax policy special session to cut government? Do you think they're going into tax policy special session to make sure government doesn't get enough? No. You think they're going into tax policy special session for you and me to get some money back? Do you think we're going into tax policy special session so businesses can prosper? Well, folks, I'm going to say no on all that because it looks like to me, if you write an article on how we ain't got money and you talk about a tax policy special session, you look like to me you're talking about ways to be ready for this, find more money for government that we don't change one dang thing in the state of Louisiana. So it looks like to me, I'm not as bright as y'all. I'm not as bright as all these lawmakers, but to me, it looks like to me, and that's just a guy from the outside looking in, it looks like to me, if you're writing an article on how we in trouble and we don't have enough money, and you're talking about a tax policy special session in November, to me, it seems like if we come out of that, we're going to come out of that as ways to come up with more money for government. Where does that money come from? It comes out of you and me. The meat's in the middle. Look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm telling you from a guy that's sitting back watching this. It looks like to me the plan is to find out how to get more money to state government, which is the most important thing that we have in the history of Louisiana, is see how we can grow state government. And I don't care who runs the state. Seems like to me this is the goal. They're not writing that, this story didn't say people are hurting, they need their money. This is not a story on saying, hey, people need money. We need to do something. People need more money in their pocket. The insurance is high. That inflation is crushing us from Biden and Harris. That's not what the article was about. This article was about how government doesn't have enough, and they're going to have a tax policy special session later this year. That tells me it's about raising money for government, not giving money to us. Because if they'd have had a story on how people can't pay their bills and it's tough to pay for food and to buy a new car, and then they started talking about tax policy, I would be saying, well, good, they're going to do something so you and me can have a little more money in our pocket to pay for the things we need. That's not what I'm reading into this. I have a right, as a guy that's been doing this for 31 years, I have a right, and I think I know what I'm talking about because I've been doing this for so long that I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is exactly what's going to be done. This is about growing government. Now, here's my question to you before we take a break. How many people voted for all the new lawmakers, governor, new lawmakers, everybody across the board? How many of y'all voted for them to grow state government where you have less money in your pocket? It's a key question. It's a key question to all this. I'm telling you what I'm looking at. I'm disgusted by this. We'll take a break. Be right back. More to come. I've been telling you about Schumacher Homes for a long time. Now, for a limited time, you can choose from 5 different financing offers and pick one that works best for you. Whether you're an active duty, military, or veteran, you can take advantage of the exclusive VA construction loan offer. You can lock in 30-year fixed financing for as low as 3.875. How about that? Looking to stay in your home and start construction right away? A stay-in-your-home loan might be right for you. With this option, you can stay in your home during construction and not worry about moving twice. And for you first-time home buyers, we're not going to forget you. For a limited time, they're offering 30-year fixed financing as low as 3.875. Other financing offers include no-cost refinancing, conventional loans, and FHA construction loans. If you're thinking of building your dream custom home, there's no time like the present to start building. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Let them build your dream home. They're building dream homes one at a time. With the summer heat here, let's talk about your AC. You're looking for a reliable, locally owned company that you can trust? Call Adapt Concepts AC and Heating. They have been serving all of Acadiana, the surrounding area, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. For your home or business, Adapt Concepts AC and Heating has you covered with certified technicians specializing in everything from residential to large commercial HVAC systems available 24/7. These guys are focused on providing professional quality work and ensuring customer satisfaction every step of the way. You want the professionals? You want the best? This is them. Don't miss this summer special. 0% financing or up to $3,000 off qualifying high-efficiency equipment. Not only that, they will throw in a free 12-year part and labor warranty. That's right, 12 years part and labor. Wow. Don't you want to know more about them? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com. Hey, folks, if you're
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you back with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. So here we go. Universities crying. Healthcare be crying soon. The tax reform policies I'm looking at in this tax policy special session seems like it's about taking care of government. You know the problem we have? And I hate to say I told y'all so. I'm really not that type person, but I mean, it breaks my heart because 31 years we offered solution, and we've always been on the pro-business side. If we ever got our business climate straight, we'd have more money than we knew what to spend, and we never concentrate on that, and apparently we're not going to concentrate on that now. You know, one of the things that universities, people like Rick Gallo and them are not telling you, and the media is not telling you is, but I'll tell you, and I shouted from the rooftop, we got an out-migration problem. When you got an out-migration problem, you got less people going to go to your universities. When you got less people to go to universities, you got less money that goes to the universities. And when you got less money that goes to the university, wah. I'm not trying to underfund the universities by not one, but they don't want to address the issue. We got way too many either. See, they don't want to, nobody in this state wants to address the real issue. Too many universities, okay? Less people going to the universities. We got people running out of here for jobs, and we never address how to stop that. If a tax policy is going to be written, it needs to be pro-business, jobs and people. Then the government will get everything. Ronald Reagan showed us this. Man, when Reagan got to cutting taxes, okay, they had more money coming in than they ever knew what to do with, but the Democrats got back in charge, and they said, we're going to spend more money than we got coming in. We've done that here over and over and over again. By the way, Michael Lunsford will join me at 10:30. Citizens for a New Louisiana. He's got a great piece on the Hayride about what I'm talking about all this money going to NGOs and projects that have nothing to do with the state of Louisiana. And nobody wants to address that. We don't address the university system, so we ain't going to address that. We don't address the jobs. We don't address insurance. We don't address, think about all this thing. Here's your problem. We never look at the problem. Turn over here on the government ledger side. Seems like to me, Moon, we just need more money. That we don't address the problems, folks. That's what the Good Old Boy Network is about, protecting theirs. So when I say we're going to raise taxes on the back of the middle class, and that's supposed to help the middle class, how? Look, I've never been, no matter what anybody tells you, I've never been an anti-government guy. I'm not. I think government's important. The smaller, the better. But when government decides, listen, I'm going to tell y'all what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to let somebody, if I can help myself. I don't want them to, not me, us. I'm not going to sit there we're going to sit there and let people wee on our leg and tell us it's raining and we go, okay, and never look at it. They're going to keep wee-weeing on our leg. This is one-on-one stuff right here, folks. When you raise taxes, you might get more government, but you're going to get a lot less for the people that are out there. Government reform, tax reform, and tax reform policies should not be about helping government unless you grow the private sector, and all of a sudden, we got businesses booming here. Businesses are doing here. Plants are being created. Not no blue hydrogen craziness. I'll get to that later. But all of a sudden, you're creating jobs and all of a sudden, you got more taxpayers and more people are moving in because they got jobs. And guess what? They buy homes. They pay property tax. They pay sales taxes. Okay? And then you got more people doing that, so you don't have to raise the taxes. Folks, think about that. If you had 100 people paying 10% tax, okay, 100 people paying 10% tax, or compared to 200 people paying 10% tax, you'd have to raise the tax. You grew. So since you grew, you got twice the money. The 10% tax that was going to government, which was $10. Now, I'm keeping this real low for people in Balkanville. If you got $10, all of a sudden, years up the road when you've done better, now you got $20. Government growing along with the private sector. This is so simple. You would think somebody in government could get it. These senators and representatives better wake up. Remember now, just going to say it out loud. Everybody's saying it behind the scene. I'll say it out loud. We got a good Republican governor, state leaders, with 2/3 Republicans in the House, 2/3 in the Senate. Nobody wants Louisiana to stay where it's been. Nobody wants the Bell Edwards and the Edwin Edwards, Louisiana, and the Huey Long, Louisiana. People didn't vote for y'all to go there and do that. You got to tell your friends and all these people like the Good Old Boy Network and these people that are waiting for that check, there's no more checks for you. I've been fighting this for a long time, and I'm losing. You know why I know I'm losing? Because people are getting the heck out of here. People aren't prospering here. Oh, there's always some. But people aren't prospering here like they could be. And there are not enough of them because a lot of people are leaving. We got senior citizens following their kids to wherever they are when they get older. So they can fuss at me and say, we've offered so many solutions, it's not funny. But I'm going to tell you, quit working on the government side of the ledger. Why don't we work on the people's side of the ledger, on the business side of the ledger? Folks, if we don't, we're never going to get it right. When government's first and you got the engine pushing the caboose up the deal, you ain't going nowhere fast. And that's been us for 50, 60, 100 years. Why don't we change the model? Takes toughness and guts because you got a system so. The late Jim Spellers told me, he said, Moon, love what you're doing, love you trying to grow, but you're going to have a problem. I said, what was that? He said, the bureaucracy here, people talk about the federal government, might be worse. He said, when you break through a layer, there's another layer to stop you from doing what you want to do. So what does the media do? The devil's advocate, the Gannett newspaper, Jim Beam. They always take the side of government. Where's the stories on people not being able to pay their bills? Where's the story on people looking for jobs? Where are the story from interviewing people that are leaving because of jobs? Where's all those stories? Nope. Louisiana higher ed braces for big budget cuts, and they go interview all the people. The Rick Gallows, the big government Rick Gallo, who ran Grambling into the ground, made it one of the worst universities in the country. No cut on Grambling, he did. He runs the university system now. All he's ever known is government. He wouldn't know how to create a private sector job if his life depended on it. A lot of these people couldn't. Yeah, my man Paul Hurd got one, the gold standard. There's another one out there, the Pelican Institute. They all got these stands. Go look at them. Go read about them. People are talking about how to do it. I'm just saying, folks, all we look at, I'm just reading through the lines, and I hope to God I'm wrong. I hope they put it back in my face. Okay? I'm reading how we worried about the government ledger. My prediction is government will grow, but the private sector won't. God, that makes me mad to say that. Anyway, let's take a break. Be back. More to come. Moon Griffon Show.
Making a whole
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
A shooting, a hijacking, and a police chase in Los Angeles. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. Police say a man now in custody shot a bus passenger and forced the driver at gunpoint to keep going.
Los Angeles police say the hijacking of an MTA bus that resulted in the death of one of the people on board is still being investigated. It happened early Wednesday morning when police say they received calls about a man on board a bus with a gun. LAPD Commander Donald Graham says that person shot a passenger, then led officers on a chase for more than an hour.
Multiple spike strips were deployed in an attempt to stop the bus to initiate a rescue of people that were on the bus.
SWAT team members rescued the bus driver and another passenger who were unharmed. The person who was shot later died at the local hospital. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky tells the United Nations General Assembly Russia's President Putin has his military planning more attacks on power infrastructure, including nuclear power plants in Ukraine.
This is how Putin is preparing for winter, hoping to torment millions of Ukrainians.
He's urging UN leaders to support the fight against Russia and then real peace. Israel sending reserve units to its northern border.
Israel's army says 2 reserve brigades are being sent to the north of the country for what it calls operational missions. It's been pounding the Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah from the air for days, and there are indications of a potential ground war to push the Iran-backed fighters away from the border. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis are reservists called up from their day jobs for limited periods to aid the country's defence. The US is calling for a diplomatic solution and is concerned about a region-wide conflict. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Tropical storm Helene is now Hurricane Helene, reaching hurricane strength. Forecasters say the entire west coast of Florida faces a possibly life-threatening storm surge when it makes landfall tomorrow. America's listening to Fox News.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
What's one of your favorite memories?
Let's see. Well, there was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. I mean, when you're sitting on the beach, it's so peaceful and you sort of forget there's a whole other world under there, just full of all kinds of life. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. They kind of reminded me of tropical birds. They were so bright and colorful, just darting all over the place like birds in the sky. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Here's your code for the 10 a.m. hour, 663. 663 is your chance to win cash with News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is great to be with you on Hump Day Wednesday right here in the great state of Louisiana as we get toward the end of September, 1st of October next week. Rolling, man. We'll be voting by the 19th of October on a presidential election. So time is a-rolling, man. It's amazing how quick it goes. Matter of fact, Walker, because I know you're a big college football guy, fifth week. Didn't you remember we were just talking about how quick it goes? It was the first week, and week 0 is fifth week. Fifth week. Next weekend, they're halfway over. Amazes me how quick time goes. Just want to wrap up on this budget deal because I'm really concerned about what they're going to do. As you look in the newspapers and you read the paper, you read online, and you start hearing about budget cuts. Oh, woe is me, and we're not going to make it. So it's tough, and we shouldn't do that. They're going to tell you how great Bill Edwards was because he raised taxes. Hell, Bill Edwards went for the tax money, whether it's federal, state. He didn't care to tax your grandmother. He wouldn't have gave a rat's rear. But the part I left out was if you had 100 people to pay 10%, if you can grow the economy, you got 200 people to take 10%, you got twice as much money in government. The other thing works the opposite. You got 100 people paying 10%, you raise it to 12. You raise it to 20. All of a sudden, you got 80 people. That's what's happening in the state of Louisiana. We got less people to pay the tax burden. You realize the oil and gas business was most of our tax burden many, many moons ago? I realize we have to pay taxes. I've never said we didn't. But I think the Louisiana people have went through enough hell watching family members leave. I think we've went through enough tough times. I think we got hurricanes. We still getting hit. I mean, all these things have been happening in Louisiana since time began. I think it's time for the Louisiana people to realize what they voted for and demand that we want something different than it's always been. I want universities funded. If you got too many, it's hard to fund them. I said this, folks, back in the day when Mike Foster ran for governor. Mike Foster ran for governor, I want to say I'm right on this, in 1995. I started my program in 1993. This is the same things. I told him then, I said, hey, Governor, I'm not saying get rid of colleges. I'm not saying get rid of colleges, but maybe we ought to make them specialize in more. We didn't have the money to fund them. In his second term, because I'm going to go back to this, and this is funny. And look, I said before, Alexandria deserved a university if everybody else got one. Charlie DeWitt became the Speaker of the House. He was one that helped push the Stelly plan. But told Governor Foster back then, and what they did was they started another university. All we did was funding, and this was, see, Foster got elected in 95. He started serving in 96, so he served in 2004. The Stelly plan was I think somewhere around 2000, whatever, it's his second term. And the deal was cut with DeWitt that he'd push any tax he wanted to as long as they got a university. I got that. I understand it. But if we couldn't fund the universities at least the southern level back then, adding a university made no sense to me. Don't get mad at me, Alec. I'm not talking about Alexandria for say. I'm talking about in general, the state couldn't finance what we had. And I said it back then. If I got 4 cars at my house and I can't pay my bills, going buy a 5th one is not going to help me pay my bills. That's what we did. Just happened to be Alexandria. Could have been Monroe, Shreveport. Could have been anywhere. You know, I've been honest about this up front. And Mike Foster, and I look back, Governor Foster, of course, no longer with us. He was probably one of the better ones. At least he fought some tort reform stuff. He called the trial lawyers the evil empire. Called them evil. So that's all I'm trying to do. I just want our state to stand up and be counted for. And I want us to do something different. We can't keep doing the same things. And Lunsford will talk about it later, but local governments need to fund their stuff, and state government needs to be funding state stuff. I mean, we can't afford it. Maybe you shouldn't be a local government. If you're a local government and you have no taxpayers there and you want to fix something, it gets hard to fix stuff. They all run the state government. State government holds that thing over local governments. I know. You shouldn't say stuff like that. Why? We got to have some real change. I believe the leaders are sitting there, if they had the guts to do it, to change what's happening in Louisiana. Look, I just read that deadline nears. Louisiana schools race to spend millions of remaining COVID dollars. You know how much money we're talking about? State data shows about $550 million of Louisiana's education COVID aid remains unspent. $540 million. And look, they got to spend it. There's a date on this. They got to December 16th. They got to the September 30th to budget the money, and until the 16th to spend it. Look at all this money floating around. You going to come to me crying about money? There's always money around. Because the federal government's lost its mind in the last 4 years since COVID. Lost its financial mind. We're going to pay the price. Y'all do realize, now, every taxpayer and homeowner probably just got a big a big pay increase on your homeowners, on your property taxes. Has your insurance gone down on your car vehicles and liability insurance and stuff? No. Inflation down any? No. So we're already losing all this money out of your pocket and your wealth and what you're building up. And now look at state government they're really going to try to pass a tax I hope I'm wrong on this. By the way, I want to be wrong. Anyway, it's a thing. Let's go to the phone lines. Mr. Paul out of Bossier. Paul, how you doing?
Well, you mentioned that Citizens for a New Louisiana, great website, by the way. I highly recommend it for fiscal conservatives out here that are fighting the fight. Real quick on this is justified. This is what happened to Dodie Horton in Bossier. One of the hardcore conservatives, one of the good ones. And what do we have? She got primaried because she couldn't bring home the bacon under John Bel Edwards because he was cutting all of her funding. Well, this is the stuff. This is the money that they use in Baton Rouge to make legislators vote the right way, or they use it to blackmail them. If they don't vote the right way, they run against you, telling the people back home that you can't bring home the bacon.
Yep.
So it works against the citizens every direction you're coming from. So this is what this does, and this is the purpose of this slush fund, of these millions of dollars. But I'm just looking at the list. I just want to read a couple of them.
Now, what list is that? What is this list from? Oh, you're talking about from New Louisiana. Okay.
Yeah. The one you're going to talk about. Just ask them about it. Teach for America, $250,000. Wynn Foundation of Louisiana to clean up a bayou at Cherokee Park, $250,000. Musada Foundation. I have no clue. I had to go look all this up. I will just to see who they are. And you were talking about all the COVID money that's being spread around. Shreveport had so much left over. They were trying to figure out how to spend it, and Keel did an article on that. And they giving money to NGOs that pushing DEI and social justice stuff, pushing a bunch of left-wing stuff. They fund all that junk through giving money to the YWCA, who funds these other groups. So this money doesn't just end up in the hands of this group. It may go through this group to another group.
I wonder how much money went back to Kamala Harris' campaign and Democrats.
Oh, a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole gimmick. I mean, there's story after story right now about NGOs on the national level with all this funding for the illegals that are coming into the country. And it's just like that case up in Ohio where you find out the mayor owns all the rental property, and they're literally kicking out U.S. citizens out of the home because there's so much money in housing illegal aliens or the Haitians coming in that they're kicking people out of the house so the homeowners or the property owners can rent it out to the government. It's the most insane stuff we see, but it all works this way. This is how this government of ours works, including Louisiana. And when you talk to that Citizens for New Louisiana at the bottom of the hour, just look at some of the stuff they spend. I know he'll.
No, he's going to mention them. He's going to talk about it. Yeah.
But it's insane what we're doing with government, and for them to even talk about raising taxes.
Hey, we
didn't go back to the pre-COVID budget. We're at the COVID budget. They baseline the COVID budget like it was what we're supposed to be spending from now on, and that's insane.
That's what they did at the federal level. That's what they did at the state level. That's where we at. That's why we got problems. Ain't got a dang thing to do with not having enough money. But the media is never going to bring it up. By the way, don't y'all have one of those so-called blue hydrogen plants coming up there?
Yeah, it's going to be at the port of Shreveport, Bossier, and they're
quick story.
And they're going to build one in Pineville. They're fast tracking the one in Pineville, and then you said there's another one in Southwood. So there's three of them that I'm thinking of, and these are $1 billion operations.
Okay, you ready?
These aren't little $100 million operations. These are $1 billion deals.
Paul, real quick before I let you go, Equinor drops plan to export blue hydrogen in Germany. By the way, all way ahead of us has abandoned a plan to export the called blue hydrogen to Germany, citing growing expenses and lack of demand. Come in here, too. Never make it. Let me give you one more. Oh, GE Vernova announces staff cuts aim at wind turbine failures, financial losses. Here's another one. Shell abandons planned Norway hydrogen project for lack of demand. But we got 3 companies coming to Louisiana that's going to make it. I'm telling y'all, that is a joke. Don't watch the wasted money. And this people have been doing this stuff way before us, and it's all falling down. None of that's happening, Paul. Matter of fact, the one in South Louisiana is 2028. Paul, it's just 2024.
This is going to be the sugarcane mill on steroids is what this is going to be. And the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for every bit of it.
Yeah, where's Bob Odom? Where's Bob Odom when you need him? Bob Odom. Let me take a break. I think Hurd's called in with Dexter and him, and then Michael Lunsford coming out at 10:30. All right, thanks, Paul. We got to go. We'll be right back.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
This is Moon Griffon. The biggest complaint about solar power is the battery storage. Well, no more. Now, Solar Louisiana offers giant battery storage solutions from the top names like Panasonic, LG, and more. Solar Louisiana will install residential home solar systems with enough battery storage to get you through any outages. And say goodbye to your electric bill, as Solar Louisiana will custom fit a system to your electrical needs. Online at solarlouisiana.net. Your energy independence company, Solar Louisiana.
If you've got some projects to do around the house and you need the voice of experience, of local voice, somebody that can help you and knows Louisiana, you need to check out Stein Home & Yard. They're a Louisiana company, founded, established here. They've been based here. Their story dates back all the way to 1946. Stein Home & Yard has all the things you need to make your house ready for fall. Great deals on fall plants like mums, as well as all sorts of handy items you need for your house. Need to upgrade your power tool game? They've got great deals on DeWalt power tools. They also have great deals on grills for your next tailgate for the big game this weekend. Traeger pellet grills, Weber grills, Charbroil, so many great brands, and it's all right there at your fingertips. Just pull them up, steinhome.com. Steinhome.com is where you need to go to find the greatest deals on your home improvement needs. Steinhome.com, a great Louisiana company.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
Hi, I'm Dale Brown, best-selling techno-thriller author. I'm also a mission pilot and squadron commander in the Civil Air Patrol. The members of the Civil Air Patrol are volunteer professionals who serve their communities and their nation every day with emergency services, aerospace education, and cadet programs. We train hard, we fly hard, and we get the job done for America. Join the Civil Air Patrol. Visit www.gocivilairpatrol.com and let's go flying.
Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I have known him for years. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Matthew James, Business Tax Reduction Hotline. We're joined by Paul Hurd. You know, Paul, it's kind of disheartening with this. You know, they're not going around and asking people if they can pay their vehicle insurance. They're not going around asking people they can pay for food. They're not going around and asking people, hey, with the property tax increase, you gonna be able to handle that? They're not going around doing interviews on people where inflation is kicking our ever-living butt in the middle class. And the thing I was going to tell you before you say something was that, and I've always learned this, and I learned this from a friend of yours and mine a long time, meets in the middle. So when you got tax increases of any kind, it's going to the middle class. Now, you may not go directly, but it's coming to the middle class.
Oh, look, that's true. With Michael Lunsford and his group of Citizens for News Louisiana, are a great organization. And look, we need our voters. We need our working families. You guys are going to have to join up with some of these fighters, and Michael's one of them. and help him stay alive, help him be alive, and an advocate. I've got my own organization, but what's really funny, I had to call in. My oldest son played AAU basketball over 15 years ago. And one of the teams he played against coming out of Baton Rouge was the Louisiana Leadership Institute that had their nice fancy travel bus, their nice 2 or 3 different uniforms, new tennis shoes. And they got $1.5 million this year.
That's Cleo. That's Cleo.
That's Cleo's basketball team is what that was. And so, look, can Louisiana afford to do without it? If we look at all of the funding to the NGOs, the non-governmental entities, all of those entities are political, unaccountable entities that are at most 25% service, 75% politics. We can afford the cuts easy. We just need to stand up and tell them we're going to make the budget number right. We're going to cut revenue. Now you guys go prioritize, and I'll bet you the basketball team has to pay for itself.
Well,
I appreciate it, Moose.
Okay. All right, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's nope. I'm telling y'all, it's my gut feeling. That's all. That we getting ready to have to fork out more money. And but where's the results for the private sector? Where's the results for the business community? How can we keep our young people here, so older people, when they get older, and they're going to go with the kids and grandbabies? So I'm tired of hearing stories about this. That's all. I just think we better than this, but we never proved to be better than this. There's certain people in everybody's community, that big community people, and they tied to that government getting that money. They won't admit it. They'll walk around with their chest stuck out in their heads, and they're looking down on you and me because they politically in the system. That's what they are. And I don't know what it's going to take to change the state, folks. You know, we always thought voting would change the state. It's why so many people got involved in the election last fall. It's why so much money, man. We made sure Democrats didn't win because we know they're going to take us down. But if we're going to elect Republicans, don't you think we got to have Republicans that are going to really stand up to say we want change? Change has got to be real. So me and you can feel that change, But I know a lot of these lawmakers, we did a lot of good things. That's fine. But as the lawmaker from North Carolina told me, you better do something every year and big every year. You'll never get to where you need to get there. So, going through a couple sessions and 3 or 4 sessions and saying we've done something, that's fine. But when do we see the results? And if you can't answer that, then I don't want to hear about what we did. Oh, we'll see it in 6 months or a year, okay? We've been saying that for 20, 30 years. I'm telling y'all, Bell Edwards set this state back 20 years. He destroyed us. He destroyed our economic development. He destroyed any gains we could have made on that. He made government the most important thing in dependency, the most important thing in his administration. He was a failure. He didn't come on this program because he knows I was going to call him out on 1,000 different things. He failed. And the legendary Jay Darden was right there holding his hand the whole way. Republican, by the way, I think. All right. We're going to go. Michael Lunsford joins us, Citizens for New Louisiana. He's got an article. I just wanted y'all to hear a little bit about him. You can go read about it at the Hayride. Louisiana Hidden Culture War, ending a century of wasteful spending. We'll be right back.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
We help people through their detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. Even though it's a 10-day treatment, I look at the first 4 or 5 days as the brain restoration piece. And when the brain restoration piece turns on, that's when we have patients go, wow, a light bulb turned on or a switch was turned on, all of a sudden their prefrontal cortex is working and their midbrain is also working. They're not craving. They're thinking clearly. They see things clearly, and they have more confidence.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 225-755-9566.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
225-755-9566. 755-9566. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
I've been bragging about Dino Hardwoods for a long time. My good friend Charles Altman, they do an excellent job. And if you're looking for unique or hard-to-find hardwood lumber, plywood, and molding, it's Dino Hardwoods. That's where you need to go. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Trust Dino Hardwoods for all your hardwood lumber and cypress needs. With the holiday season fast approaching, as you know, a timeless handmade gift using quality lumber by Dino just means more. With 3 great locations to serve you now, Broussard, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and now he's expanded in Tyler, Texas. Folks, there's something for every discerning woodworker at Dino. Go to DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com, and check out the unique and hard-to-find hardwood, lumber, plywood, and molding that you can't just find anywhere. Charles Altman, trust me, is not a better man in the business. He knows what he's doing, and he wants to service you. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. Man, they're a lot cleaner, too. Clear. Great to have you with us, 844-766-6607. You know, I've been talking a lot about tax reform and wondering if we're really going to get anything that looks like real tax reform for the people in the business community. I'm all for government, folks. I have no problem with government. Never have. I got a problem with big government, how much money they're taking. And we're joined by Michael Lunsford, of course, Citizens for a New Louisiana. Michael, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How y'all, man?
I'm doing good, except I broke my headset when I was walking out. I'm kind of mad at myself, but I'm just going to take it out of Walker's pay. I'm good to go with that. I bought a set that I thought was really nice, and then I always buy a backup set. It'll do me till I get another nice set. And so I got a second set I got, I think it's nicer than the first set. It sounds so much cleaner and clearer. So anyway, all right, Mike, the article you wrote, Louisiana Hidden Culture War Ending a Century of Wasteful Spending. And, you know, I don't see anybody working on the spending side, and that bothers me. And when I came across your article, we've been friends for a long time, but I came across the article, and I thought, man, this is pretty good in the fact that you're pointing out how this has been going on forever. And by the way, when I looked at the news media, that's not going to change. It's about we need more money, and that's it. Never about the spending part of the ledger. So your thoughts on the article, what you were trying to say, and talk to us about it.
Well, so the big thing that we've had a challenge with, it was actually the end of the Shakedown Schexnayder reign of terror, the previous Speaker of the House. They burned $500 million on their way out the door in a single supplemental appropriations bill. You remember that? They bust the cap. They did all the stupid things that no one wanted them to do. But, you know, they're in charge, so they can do that. And they sent all kinds of money. Every Democrat got $1 million all the way down the line. So,
By the way, just not to correct you, but to add, Blank Page Cortez and Governor Bell Edwards were a big part of that, too.
Oh, yeah. Big time. But just remember, all of this spending has to originate on the House side. So Schexnayder was in charge of that. Of course, they waited till the second to last day to get all of this rammed through at the last minute. No one has time to read it. Look, the supplemental appropriation for 2024 was, 93 pages or something like that?
Yep.
So imagine, and it was $100 million, imagine multiplying that by 5. Who in the world has time to read that in less than 48 hours? So at any rate, I was offended. Everybody was offended. So now we're starting to look at these supplemental appropriations bills to say, okay, what's so important? And what happens is supplemental appropriations is halfway through session, they realize, we have extra money. We have to hurry up and spend it before time runs out. So they create a new bill, supplemental, to blow out all the money they've got left over instead of putting it in the savings account, instead of lowering taxes. There's always this supplemental spending. And I say always, there's times when things are rough and we don't have it. But lately we've been hearing fiscal cliff, fiscal cliff, fiscal cliff. Last year it was over, 1.6 or 1.8 billion. They bust the cap. Mm-hmm. And this year they didn't bust the cap, but there's an extra $100 million in spending. And then, of course, Tony Bacala found out that they had $100 million in advertising. In addition to that, $250 million in extra spending in Department of Health. He's saying, we're just not going to give you that extra money. And of course, you know how these people are. Oh, you're not giving us an extra $250 million more than last year. That's a cut. Well, it's not a cut. You're just not getting more. But the language is what they use, and the press eats it up. And I really believe this. I believe the left-leaning legacy media in this state wants to bankrupt our country and bankrupt our state because it's always about we're going to lose critical services if we don't spend more money. And it's like $100 million in advertising is not a critical service.
No.
And they're not putting this information. Anyway, so we found a bunch of stuff in here, and you probably have the article in front of you.
I do.
But, $1 million for this project and that project.
No, name
cleaning out of.
Yeah, name some of the projects, Mike. It's a shame that it's going to this, but that's when you listen. I knew when Schexnayder and Cortez got in, and then we had all that money coming from federal money and a 0.45 cent that we didn't need. They were going to just blow this money. You knew it. I knew it. Everybody knew it. We watched it happen in front of our face. And that's why you don't let people like that ever be getting power. I knew Blank Page would be weak, and he was. And I knew that Schexnayder was a total joke. It was almost that's why he had to walk across and get the leftist Democrats to vote him in. And with a few Republicans like Cocktail Coosa on him to help him. And that's why I told people they caused this problem. They act like they made one bad vote. They caused the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. They did. Just the speaker, choosing a speaker changes everything. It changes the whole trajectory of the state, spending everything. But anyway, let's. I don't know how much time you got for me, so let me.
No, you got plenty of time. Go ahead. I got till 11 o'clock.
Okay. So I'm flipping over here to the NGO section. That's non-governmental organizations, mostly nonprofits. And so the first thing on my list was $2.5 million for the Lakeshore Indian Booster Club.
How much?
Okay.
How much?
$2.5 million.
And we got a budget problem, but what's the name of the group again?
Lakeshore Indians Booster Club.
Oh, my God.
And so...
Gee
what are we doing with this? So the other thing, and you're going to love this one, Moon, and I know you've seen it in the article. It's probably why you called me. $1.5 million for Cleo Fields' nonprofit organization, Louisiana Leadership Institute.
Yeah, that's the guy that we gave a district to. We've given a congressional district to. Yeah, I know you're talking about. But once again, we got to hear the newspapers like the Devil's Advocate, and you hear Rick Gallo and them crying, "We got no money, we got to cut." Look at all the stuff that's out there. You mentioned $500 million. That's probably just a touch. Your boy Bacala brought up another $343 million. $500 million, 343. That's real money.
It is, yeah. Now, in the hearing with Bacala, the people from Department of Health says, well, it didn't cost you nothing. It's just pass-through money from the federal government. And it's like, so? Why are we spending $100 million advertising for the COVID vaccine. Dude, COVID's over. We don't need to be spending this money anymore.
By the way,
that was Bacala's point.
You got one in here, $500,000 to Math Nation, an organization that's not even based in Louisiana. $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
How about the art gallery in Baton Rouge? $500,000. They can't see these. They're telling me people can't make it on their own, and so they come to government, and government says, "Sure, I'll give you something."
Yeah. Well, you forgot the $1 million for Cyberspace Innovation Center to replace a generator. Incorporated, by the way, Cyberspace Innovation Center Incorporated. So it's not even a nonprofit, I don't think. It's probably a for-profit organization, and they're just giving them, here's $1 million.
Yeah. Well, they did that when Cortez and what's his name, the Speaker of the House, Schexnayder, they did all this. We told them not to do it, but they literally bought every minority vote with $1 million. That's a fact. Everybody knows this happened, but they're going to come back to you and me. We ain't got no money. Well, when will a part of the government will start saying, you know what? We need to help the people that are trying to save money so we can have enough money.
Well, the numbers we're talking about here aren't Schexnayder numbers. These are current numbers. These came through the appropriation process in 2024. So this is like today, right now.
So this is our Republican-led House, Senate, and Governor.
It's right now. Yeah, it's the 2024 regular session. It's the one that just ended. So these are current numbers. This isn't, we have another article coming on Schexnayder spending.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, you're going to love this one. We actually pulled the addresses for the organizations that we're giving as examples, and we're going to plot them out on a map and tell you whose district they're in.
No, I love that because then we find out exactly what happened. But the Schexnayder, Edwards, and Blank Page Cortez experiment was a failure. And you know it as well as I do it, because every 4 years and 8 years when you do this, like Bell Edwards was governor for 8 years, he destroyed us. He hurt us bad. So we expect when the new people come in, we need to start cleaning up this stuff. It's not too late, by the way, but they got to start cleaning up some of this stuff, Mike.
Well, they do, and we have some other projects in here. These are these wouldn't offend people as much as the nonprofits and the for-profit businesses that they're giving money away to, but. Central Community School System over there in Baton Rouge, Greenville Springs Park, for an arena cover and improvements, $1 million, for a park.
Yeah.
And so we're saying we have a fiscal cliff. We have to stop. We're not going to be able to provide necessary services if we cut. Well, did we need to? We got to build parks.
Yeah.
Is that a necessary service? We have. Industrial park.
Hey, let me take a break. I'm right up on the break.
Right.
Hold your thought. Michael Lunsford. We'll take a break and be back. One more segment. Yeah, folks, all this money is crying in the newspapers. I don't buy it. We just give money away. Just George Strait got a song. Just give it away. We'll be right back. Nestled in gently rolling hills in North Louisiana is a place that produces the finest Louisiana wines around, Landry Vineyards. This place is phenomenal. Not only are they passionate about growing wine grapes and making Landry Vineyards wine, they also have cottages and RV sites you can rent, tours, and live music on Saturdays and tastings Monday through Saturday. Available in over 650 stores throughout Louisiana, I encourage you to visit and try Landry wine direct from Landry Vineyards. This is another great Louisiana company that has my full support, and they're Louisiana certified. A red blend they labeled Bayoutage, Blackberry Merlot, Cabs, Rosé, Petite Syrah, dry and sweet whites, and many, many other wines. Learn more about their wines and their vineyard online at LandryVineyards.com. This is Moon Griffon. My lovely bride and I love the wines from this great Louisiana company, Landry Vineyards, and so will you. Go visit their beautiful winery and find them in your local grocery store. If they don't have Landry Vineyards wine, ask and ask again. LandryVineyards.com. Woo, good wine right here. With 5 locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. That menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street, and Holland Road in Baton Rouge, and they're on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans. But look, their new location in Lafayette is now open. Lafayette, you've been clamoring for it, and now they are open on Collie Saloon. I want to see Superior Grill packed with folks from Acadiana. The best Mexican food with a Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill. Shreveport, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans, and now Acadiana on Collie Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I will see you at Superior Grill.
We're proud of every
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, last segment of this second hour. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. On the hotline, Michael Lunsford joins us. And, of course, Michael's a citizen for a new Louisiana. You know, I was thinking at the break, we're just talking about this year and last year. But I think you've done the history. We've been doing this 50, 100 years. And think about where we are in terms comparable to other states. The southern states have really been the growth, and we didn't participate in it. And we've had budget problems. We run into this every few years. We raise taxes. It's never enough. And then we've been, think about all the money we gave away to non-government organizations. It's got to be in the billions. The tens of billions of dollars over the last 30, 40, 50 years or more.
Well, it's certainly a lot. You know, that $500 million last year, I haven't even cracked it open. I'm afraid to go look in there. You know, it's just so much and so overwhelming. We're going to try, though. We're going to make an effort at it and get some addresses. We have some. So the list we're using for our upcoming article, where we're going to cross-reference district boundaries and figure out where these are coming from, because, you know, it's a secret. They don't have to say which legislator requested the money, and that's been part of the game, too, is if we knew who was requesting this money, a lot would change.
Boy, let me tell you something, if you knew that, they wouldn't request it as much. I ain't asking for that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not asking for that because that's crazy. I'm not banning uniforms for $1 million. Y'all out your mind, you know? And then, of course, when the Democrats have their $1 million with their name next to it, we're going to have the Freedom Caucus saying, what in the world are we giving $30 million to Democrats for? You know? So that's the magic. Look, transparency is what our organization is all about. You know, we've always said, if you knew what your government was doing, your government would probably stop doing it. So our mission is to share with you who's getting this money, and you can decide for yourself if you think it's worth $1 million for band uniforms for, you know, representative whoever and wherever, you know. But that's the idea is we're going to put this out. It's going to be a spreadsheet format. Again, we have limited resources. I don't have a big team. It's just, you know, myself and one other guy in Lafayette. I have Jamie part-time in Baton Rouge. If we had the resources to really dig in, I would pull every single line out and we'd have addresses for everything.
Yeah, the thing about it is, I wish we could find out who asked for the money. That would really show them. But I got to tell you, most of the people don't want that to happen. That would be real transparency in government. My frustration is I don't see the eagerness to change the state of Louisiana into what it needs to be. And if you don't have that eagerness, and I think the people are ready. I think we saw it in the last election. I think people looked up at what Bill Edwards did, and they're going, oh, my God, you've got to be joking. I do. But now the big fear is that, you know, have we done the right thing? I think the lawmakers that are there, there's a lot of good people there, from the governor all the way through the lawmakers. They have a responsibility to get this part of it right. I think they do. And if they're not going to get it right, because all we're going to worry about is, I'm telling you, there's something in the water down there. Representative and Republican so-and-so goes down there. He got elected on the most conservative agenda you've ever seen in your life. And they go down there, and all of a sudden, instead of representing people, they're representing the government. And I don't understand that. They're supposed to be representing us.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either, Matt. Do you remember our friend John Schroeder when he was running for treasurer? He used to say, I don't know what the deal is. As soon as you cross the threshold into this building, everybody's IQ drops like 10 points, you know?
Yeah, I tried.
And that just seems to be,
Yeah, I had him. I was at a deal. He was at the deal that Mills put on. And it was a bunch of pastors and people that were involved in the Christian community. And he stood up and told them, he said, look, I know y'all are worried about things that are right and moral and things that are done right. He said, you see that building over there talking about the Capitol? He said, that whole Capitol, that's money. They don't care about God, family, country. That's about money. And he was right when he said it. Yeah. I thought that was a great line because it was true.
It is. So, Moon, we're going to be doing something so different. No one's ever done it before by plotting this spending on the map and finding out whose district they're in. But I think you'll be excited when we put that out. And it's going to show, it's going to name names. We don't know, for example, that this particular representative requested it, but it's in his district. Who else would request it?
Here's going to be the problem. This is the problem you're going to run into, and you shouldn't because you're only putting out factual information. The problem you're going to run into is there'll be somebody in that district that money benefited, and they can justify it real quick. They can. It's amazing how people can justify. We all like this. I ain't putting me any different. We all like this. Throw some money your way. I can justify it real quick, especially if I didn't have to earn the money or work for it.
Yeah. But I think, we've also always said employees tend to work better when they know they're being watched, when their bosses are watching, right? Well, we're the bosses of the government, and we have forever not really paid much attention to them. We're all stuck on entertainment news, such as Fox News, CNN, whatever your preference is. You're watching what's going on in Washington, D.C. No one cares what's going on in Louisiana if it's outside of football. Yeah. And so that's the mission. We're trying to change what we're paying attention to. We keep it short, simple. Here's a quick hit. These are some stupid spending that's going on. The next phase is going to have whose district it's in. And I think once some of these legislators realize that we're going to be naming names, I'm not going to be requesting those band uniforms anymore. Yeah. Y'all figure out another way. And that's the goal. And it may work, it may not. But you know what? We've never tried it before, so we're gonna jump in. And if I end up getting shot, you'll know why.
Yeah, well, I just think the truth is what we need. We need a big part of that going around. I just don't. And at the end of the day, there's still people in this state who want to change it. We got almost enough lawmakers to change it in the House and Senate. You notice I said almost?
Yeah.
I'm serious with you because it seems like we always a few votes short on the things we really need.
Mm-hmm. And they tick those votes ahead of time, so they know who they can give a pass to walk away and who they got to have.
Yep, and somebody has to vote for
district.
Just say it again.
I say, you're in a conservative district. We're going to give you a pass on this because we have the votes we need. So it's always going to be close.
Yeah. Well,
that's how they do it. It's the game. I've seen it at a parish level, especially. You always see these close votes, especially on these roll forwards. It's usually almost exactly the 2/3 requirement. Now, some of these people are crazy. Like Livingston Parish just increased taxes 33% without a vote of the people. It was unanimous. I don't know what's wrong with these people, but nobody's paying attention, so they do what they want.
Yeah. All right, Mike, thank you. Give out your website real quick because I don't have but a few seconds left.
Yeah, newlouisiana.org, and we're on every social you can think of.
All right, got to run. Thanks. All right, more to come.
Thanks,
for the rest of you, God bless. Have a great day. MoonGriffon.com. Listen live. Another hour to go. We'll talk at you in a second.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
Helene is now a hurricane. Lisa Brady, Fox News, centered about 500 miles southwest of Tampa and expected to become a major hurricane before hitting northwest Florida, possibly late tomorrow.
The forecast path now shows the eye's landfall to be a little further to the west, but still the Florida Big Bend remains under a hurricane warning. A tropical storm warning extends down the peninsula and up the east coast all the way to South Carolina, which might feel some of the wind at some point. Gale force winds extend 275 miles from the center.
Fox's Eben Brown, because of the size, even rural areas 90 miles north of the Georgia-Florida line are under a hurricane warning. A preliminary Senate report on the first Trump assassination attempt details preventable security failures and raises more questions about why the Pennsylvania rally was allowed to begin when a suspicious person had been spotted.
Several Secret Service employees responsible for planning the security of the July 13th rally provided contradictory or incomplete information, some of which ran counter to responses from state and local law enforcement officials.
Fox's David Spunt at the Justice Department, the counter-sniper team leader, telling Senate investigators he intended to pick up a local radio but ran out of time because technical issues with his Secret Service radio had to be resolved first.
In response to questions by the committee regarding responsibility for determining the site perimeter, Secret Service agents stated that these were joint decisions and no singular individual was responsible.
The Secret Service says it accepts responsibility, has begun to implement many of the proposed enhancements, and is cooperating with multiple investigations. Israel's defense chief says troops are preparing for a possible ground operation in Lebanon as fighting with Hezbollah escalates after a missile fired by the militant group at Tel Aviv was intercepted. America is listening to Fox News.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
President Biden says he's at peace with his decision to pass the torch. Just telling ABC's The View, his advice to Vice President Kamala Harris is to be herself.
I just think she has the energy, she has the intelligence, she has the grit, she has the stamina, and she has the guts to do the right thing.
The president also saying about the former president, there's not a lot of social redeeming value. 2 weeks after their first debate, Harris is up a point and former President Trump is down one in the new Fox News power rankings, which also show Republicans gaining ground in the U.S. Senate race and more House races becoming toss-ups. Congress holds a hearing on what some Republicans suspect is the weaponization of the federal government.
House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan wants to know if the FBI used security clearance powers to purge its ranks of conservatives and whistleblowers while punishing those who disagree with FBI leadership.
The FBI can't tell us who planted pipe bombs on January 6th. They can't tell us who leaked the Dobbs decision. They can't tell us who put cocaine at the White House. But they were able to spy on a presidential campaign, lie to a FISA court.
Ranking member Democrat Stacey Plaskett firing back, saying there's no evidence the Biden administration is weaponizing the agency against political opponents.
Because, as Biggie says,
It was just a dream.
She compares the GOP's efforts to their impeachment inquiry into President Biden, which didn't lead to articles of impeachment.
Fox's Ron Schmelz on Capitol Hill. A day after new record closes for both the Dow and the S&P, stocks turning mixed, and for the Dow right now, it is a sell-off, down more than 200 points. A day afterward that American consumers are feeling a bit less confident this month as concerns about jobs also rise in the Conference Board's latest index on consumer confidence. Right now, the S&P is down about 5 points. The NASDAQ is up 16. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.